the fact that, both of us are early adopters. I was on Facebook in 2004. And I think if I was trying to sum that up in a principle, it's always really tough to be the smartest person in the room. But the easiest way to be the smartest person in the room is to be the first person in the room.
Oh, damn. Well, what's up, John? How you doing?
What's up, Adam?
This is Adam Levy. You're John Ross.
And you guys don't know?
This is Darwyn Metzger.
Darwyn Metzger.
This is Long Story Long. And thank you so much for coming on, Darwyn. We just wanted to get you in here and have a good chat, especially because if I recall correctly, the first time that we kind of talked about Long Story Long was actually, that was with you. We said it. Granted,
yeah.
Apparently, according to, we've now found out more information.
It's unclear where the phrase long story long comes from. But the first time Adam recalls hearing it was out of my mouth.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I Googled it. I can't find anything. So, you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, but apparently,
Adam was sharing this story with my girlfriend. My girlfriend's like, my dad's been saying that for 25 years.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Damn.
I figured it's not exactly
anecdotal evidence.
Reinventing the wheel here or anything.
Yeah. But did her dad make a podcast about it?
No, he didn't.
Whoa.
So sorry.
Yeah, we go.
There you go. But so wanted to bring you on and just kind of, chat, have a good time. So I remember, I'm just kind of thinking about the first time that I met him. It was actually probably one of the crazier situations I've been in. Not like in a bad way, but just like basically we're going to go 15 years ago, I'd say. I'm playing poker. Yeah, I'm at like the peak of like my game at that point. I had an agent.
Oh yeah,
you probably didn't even know that that poker has agents. It makes sense for the bigger players or whatever, but it's like it was way more prevalent and kind of in the zeitgeist back then. And it's still around.
This was like post Chris Moneymaker. This is when the World Series was at like an all-time high. ESPN was doing live coverage around the clock. And so Adam was a part of a group of poker players that I think there was a few publicists had reached out to me about. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I do think I can come up with something fascinating. So I had this really, really weird news syndication. It was a technology news report that was on a bunch of different broadcast stations. So depending on what city you were in, it was on your local morning news. Wow. And I had total freedom and autonomy to do all sorts of weird things. It was meant to be a consumer.
Sounds super fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was incredible. And a lot of it was like just, here's the new iPhone, or here's what Twitter is and why that should matter. But sometimes they would let me just make up ideas or do experiments that I want to do.
Oh, wow, lovely.
And so one of the ideas that I wanted to showcase for people was the difference in variance between somebody who's a pro as a poker player and somebody who's a pro as a video game player.
Interesting.
But we knew that just bringing like pro video game players would be so lopsided. So I said, okay, what if I take a bunch of executives that are well known around the video game community, including the CEO of Blizzard, Mike Morhaime, and sort of the head executives of StarCraft.
I got to tell him he was the Christopher Nolan of video games. I just usually loved it.
Wow, eat that shit up.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then we came up with this sort of cross-skill tournament where we let the poker players play both poker and StarCraft against these executives.
It was StarCraft 2 coming out.
StarCraft 2, that's right.
Oh, wow.
And of course,
he knows all about StarCraft.
Yeah, Filipinos love StarCraft, man. It's our national pastime.
Use your help.
Yeah. We got completely rinsed. And I played StarCraft like growing up, like the OG one, the first one.
Yeah,
so I was like, maybe I could hang. And there was like, no, like the random executives that came in completely toasted us.
Hilarious. Yeah. That would they had
poker
to like
was they
did a training montage right before.
Yeah, but poker they almost won. I think I didn't end up winning the poker little mini tournament. It's called Sit and Go that we played. But they got one of them got heads up, which is like the final two. Yeah. But that was like it kind of left me being like, I don't know this Darwyn guy, but like he seemed like he knew what was going on. You know, like he just like, and KTLA is in the heart of Hollywood.
100%.
Right off the 101, and
it's a big station. It's an independent station. People don't realize this. It's actually a super station that hits almost half the country. It's one of the most historic stations of all time. It's where a lot of different live news techniques began. They were like the first to have a live shot, the first to have a helicopter in the air.
Wow.
And so they've done a lot of great stories over the years, but this is a great showcase because it kind of proved what our theory was, which was that the poker players would have less of an edge playing poker than the video game players would have playing video games. But what I really loved was the sort of camaraderie across the aisle, where you could tell these executives really admired Adam. And I think McLean was there, McLean Carr,
Maria Ho, yeah.
Tiffany DeMichelle.
Yeah.
And it sort of just spurned a conversation. I don't remember what happened after that. There was some sort of follow-up. I feel like there was like a few weeks after this moment where I spent a lot of time with a lot of poker players.
Yeah.
I think I came back in once for more. Oh, you know what? You had like a meetup. So you know iJustine?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had like a meetup with all these, I think Machinima too.
Yeah.
And like he just had random YouTubers or people that were, you know, on the internet come in for some sort of, you know, KTLA segment. And I think I got to go in and meet these people as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was super random and cool. And then I think shortly after that, Black Friday happened, which was when I had to start going to the country for poker.
Yeah.
He's well versed now. He knows about Black Friday.
Yeah, I know the timeline. I'm getting it.
Yeah, and but he did. So just to catch you up, he helped me with that like poker kind of a script that I was trying to write about. Like,
oh yeah, how'd that go?
It was pretty fun, man.
Short.
Yeah,
like,
I learned a lot. Yeah.
It was fun. It's just like once things started opening back up and you know, like everyone's writing and stuff, it gets, I mean, I learned a bit of what that grind is for, I mean, shout out to the writers out there.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Writing strike right now.
Shout out to the writers, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, but like, I got like a small inkling of what it was like to see, you know. And,
you saw what the most
even,
case scenario is. It's just like, oh, I wrote this project, super passionate about it. Oh, I didn't get picked up.
It's there, you know. Yeah. So what was cool was one of the guys who did the short main characters ended up doing Fire Island. I don't know if you saw. It was like kind of a gay rom-com last year with a couple of guys. I don't think it's Bowen Yang or I forget.
I don't know.
But there were a couple like well-known characters on it. And he went on to do it. So it was like,
he was like a lead.
Good,
yeah.
It was like, you know, solid.
So wait, did you actually shoot this?
Yeah,
we shot that.
Can we see this?
I mean,
at some point,
How long?
We have
a 9-minute like little pitch pilot. But
that's awesome.
And we have a full script and like a
cool.
series projection, like of the timeline of the episodes.
I mean, it was like our COVID project, you know. And I had just met with him at after.
I don't want to make you guys repeat this if you've already said this on the pod. But what's the elevator pitch for this story?
It's about Adam's life. It's about Adam's life.
You know, like so. Basically, I haven't actually said what it's about. Basically, I just grew up playing poker. I was kind of like not sure what was happening in my life, and you know, like kind of, I was like losing jobs for just not waking up at Olive Garden. You know, like I'm a server who just can't. Like you're great at serving, but like you can't wake up. It's 12 p.m. You have to be in, and like you're coming in at 1 every day.
Yeah,
you know, like so. Eventually, they're like, we gotta let you go, and I ended up seeing like I was playing poker with my Magic buddies, Magic the Gathering, and Lil Hold'em, Chad Bautista walks in. You know who I'm talking about? Or so basically, it's like a basic. To me, he was kind of like if Lil Wayne was like completely white. Like that was like it was like,
but it would still acted the same.
Yes, and I'm not joking. Like he like had like a hood. He had a do-rag.
So we're talking like James Franco from Spring Breakers.
Yes.
Okay.
We definitely looked into him when we cast him.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Riff Raff who.
Riff, absolutely. Shout out to Riff Raff.
But he was so small. He was like 5'4" or something like that.
It's so what a character,
and
man.
Like he would wear a grill, and he had a bandana always with a hat on, and he would wear new shoes every day. He did not like once he blew up. But it was just me and him. Like me, Ophi, Jewish, goofy Adam. And then it's like him. And I had never trusted anyone more in my life. He'd just gotten out of jail for like some serious shit.
I mean, he sounds very trustworthy.
Yeah. It's
when you put it that way.
But I had never trusted anyone more in my life. And it was just a pure energy thing. He slept on my like bedroom floor. I would play poker, or I would go to bed and he would just play poker.
Yeah.
I'd wake up and he'd have more money in my account or whatever. Yeah, I was like, maybe it wasn't allowed.
And then were you like asking him questions like, how is that possible? Because I don't think Magic the Gathering was that lucrative.
I don't even think Chad played Magic.
No, it was poker. Sorry.
No, I'm saying for you, you're playing Magic the Gathering, and you're like, well, I'm not making any money. I wake up every day. He's made more money playing poker.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I had actually been done all right. Like I had actually started doing okay in poker by then.
Okay.
But everyone thought that I wasn't very good.
So he wasn't your entry point. Who was your entry point for poker?
Actually, one of the best Magic players in the world, Ben Stark.
Ben, I was about to say Ben.
Yeah. he's still to this day, like he streams on Twitch and he's like plays on the Pro Tour and stuff. And he elevated everyone so much that he made the entire state of Florida better at Magic. Like that's how
holy shit.
That's saying a lot.
Like it's like Florida, I guess if you were to go back, were some of the best like drafters, which is basically you just open a pack and then you just play. And that's Ben's format. So
What's Ben's last name?
Stark.
Ben Stark. Okay.
Yeah. So he was like, hey, we're all playing poker now because all the Magic players were like,
That's literally what the pilot episode is about.
And it's just
Is
like we're
this
playing
scene.
poker now. And then it's him and a few other friends, and then like along the way, like in the pilot, I meet Lil Hold'em, and we just connect, and he ends up being one of the best poker players in the world 1 year online. Like it was like literally he was like ranked number 1, and then the next year's ranked like number 30 out of like tens of thousands of people who play it that they could calculate it. And then I was like top 50, I think, at one point or whatever. And it was just me and him every night, like just playing poker, making money for like a year or two.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of like a
So this is like
couple.
2006, 2007.
Yeah, it's an early aughts period piece.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it's like 2005. Yeah,
It was a better time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but
simpler time for sure.
It was so simple and super fun. And unfortunately, he passed away in like 2015, I think.
Spoilers.
Yeah. So.
Jeez, sorry to hear that. Sorry
I
to hear
know.
loss.
But I mean, we kind of, unfortunately, sometimes like you kind of just like drift apart, but it wasn't like there was anything that kind of, just kind of, you just live life sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also after Black Friday, it was like tough for everyone
To stay
emotionally.
together. Yeah.
And some people just didn't like, I mean, he still actually would go to Mexico and stuff and play poker, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same for me. I think I went on like I lost like.
Is that a thing? People go to Mexico to play poker? There are a lot of
Well,
During
to
Black
play
Friday.
online.
Yeah.
Oh, 'cause
yeah.
then it's legal there.
Yeah.
I was
got
going
you.
to Vancouver, Mexico, Europe and stuff. So it was like kind of like we were all like vagabonds traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
So for him it was kind of tough because he was he had like committed he had previous felon or whatever, and but he still would do it occasionally. But yeah, I mean, so that's kind of the story. And I mean, granted, it wasn't necessarily going to be a podcast about this, but it did come up. And I do think I love that story.
Yeah.
I think like to me, the story of online poker kind of lies with Lil Hold'em. Like, and then
They're intertwined.
It's not my story. This
Yeah.
is Lil
It's his
Hold'em's story.
yeah.
And like,
You were
I'm
just
still in,
there
like,
for the ride.
Yeah. Like roughly in contact with like his, Facebook friends with like his like, aunt and like his brother and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's just like, I don't think his story's ever been truly told. And it's a fascinating one to me. That's kind of what was the whole inspiration for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Can still be told. Can still be
it's
told.
still,
It's not too late.
Yeah, it's not too
we
late.
pinned that for a while or whatever.
Exactly.
And it's just like,
honestly,
just
hearing it
happens.
again after a couple years of like not thinking about it.
I'm getting chills.
Yeah,
it-
yeah.
It's still,
My question is, who did you cast as Little Hold'em, and is that who you would want if this got expanded into like a proper TV series?
Well, we didn't actually have Lil Hold'em in the short. I don't think.
Yeah,
It was just,
we didn't-
it was just-
we didn't get
better,
there
so
yet.
it's a clean slate.
Yeah,
So
it's a
who
clean
would you
slate.
cast as Little Hold'em?
Ooh, didn't we put a perspective?
we did. You had like Dylan O'Brien and a few
Yeah,
others,
I don't
but it was
remember.
it was.
No. I don't remember. Damn. I have Google Docs of literally like potential castings going through all these people. I think there was.
I think like Jack Harlow could be someone that would be comparable.
Oh, that's not bad.
He's like 7 feet tall.
Is he?
Isn't this guy like 5
we can
foot tall?
reverse Tom Cruise him, I think.
Here would be my pitch. I don't know if I've seen him do this character, but I'm certain he would be able to. Do you guys know Kyle, who's on Saturday Night Live?
Oh, Kyle Mooney.
Yeah, Kyle Mooney. I think Kyle Mooney could nail this.
Wow.
I also think Sam
Is that the
Rockwell.
guy with the glasses? And,
Oh wow, Sam Rockwell would be
Rockwell.
so funny.
Sam Rockwell would be sick, and he's never played this character. I know he could play this character.
Sam, if you're listening,
Hook it up.
I loved Moon. Thank you for that.
yeah, but yeah. So that's kind of the gist of it, and it was super fun to even like just. I mean, this is technically our like third time working together because we did a previous poker show, and then we did that for a little bit.
Yeah.
and I was like, John,
And now
you
we're
wanna
here.
just start a podcast, and he's like, yeah, and then we just seem to have a good vibe.
Yeah, good rapport.
I love it.
Yeah.
And
now we're
strong,
here.
strong voices.
I think so. Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's the microphone is kind of addictive once you start hearing with the headphones on.
Yeah.
You're like, this is every
yeah,
time
yeah.
everyone wants to play ASMR because I mean
Yeah.
these microphones are pretty good. But yeah, so getting back to you, Darwin. So actually for me, I ended up traveling for a while, and then kind of 2015, 16, I was actually living in Vegas, and I was kind of in a weird place in my life where I was like, poker just seems like it's in a feedback loop. Like I play a tournament and I have a cash, and then I like use that money to play more poker, but then I lose, and then I need to win more money to, you know,
it's a cycle.
So eventually I was like, the only way I'm ever going to get out of this and try anything else is if I just literally just rip the cord. And I broke a lease in Vegas and just like paid double rent for a few months and just booked it. I had like a trip to LA once, and he just told me some kind of inspiring story about what he was doing, and I just kind of wanted to be a part of it a little bit. And I had a lot to work on myself, but yeah, I mean, you were kind of just doing some. You were, I mean, yeah, you were kind of inspirational or influential in Vine, I'd say, to some extent.
Sure.
You know, like people were like just straight going to your office, I think I remember, and just
so
consulting.
So the beginning of Vine. So I've built a lot of different random influencer ecosystems. Not thinking that's what we were doing. Just, it was just a symptom of the work we do. Because basically, I had a career in news, and then I was doing a lot of stories, basically teaching people to think like the tech companies that I was, you know, working for years to cover. And a lot of it was sort of growth hacking. A lot of it was digital marketing. And I figured out that I could basically figure out how to clobber a lot of different platforms and grow audiences in ways that other people hadn't figured out yet. So we started with Twitter. We took over Twitter. That's why I still own all these weird big parodies on Twitter. I own a big parody of Jesus. I own a big parody of Bill Clinton that are all kind of like rowdy, kind of naughty parodies.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were helping big corporations like Nike build their Facebook page and Red Bull pick up their, you know, first YouTube subscribers. And there was a period where we just went hyper experimental on any new platform that came out. And there was a lot of crappy platforms.
Yeah.
I remember there was a live streaming platform that would only let you stream 3 minutes at a time on a 1 minute delay. So your maximum chance to actually have a live audience was a 2 minute window. But you know what? We tried.
Yeah.
And when one of my writers, who is a incredibly underappreciated improv actress named Brittany Furlan, pitched Vine to me, I was like, absolutely, we could do this. And she hit the ground running, and she became the, you know, the most followed woman on Vine almost for the entire arc of Vine.
Yeah.
But by the time she hit 10,000, that made her number one. And so the person who had 5,000 and the person who had 2,000 would start coming to our office.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'd have about 15 of the top 25 in our office all day, every day collaborating. It sort of accidentally became this giant ecosystem.
Wow.
And then that spun off a bunch of other spin-offs as well.
You know, fun fact,
ripple
she's
effects.
married to Tommy Lee now, the drummer of Motley Crue.
Whoa. Wow, that was a fun fact.
Which, and by the way, the thing that most people don't know is he was a fan of hers, not vice versa, and he reached out to her.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
There you go. Yeah. So, I mean, I think there was always, and I think that's also why we kind of connect.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, if all of a sudden this dude's like, you know, hey, come to this thing for, you know, all these big YouTubers or whatever that are just, and they all go kind of progress, or he's doing this or doing that. That's like kind of, I guess, not like, it's just early adopter.
I would say Adam. So Adam has a lot of different skills. I think one of the skills that Adam has that people don't really understand or fully appreciate is that he's able to, and some of it's from a rational point of view. Some of it, we were talking earlier about a colleague of ours who has kind of this gypsy jazz energy. He is able to spot trends way ahead of the curve, way ahead.
Yeah,
he is, of all the people in my life, he will be probably the top 2 or 3 people that over the course of time that I've known him has told me about a genre of music that's turned out to be the biggest genre on earth, or a movie that ends up winning 12 Oscars.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
In the case of NFTs, Adam was one of the first adopters I knew.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, he's not approaching it from like, oh, well, how can I exploit this knowledge? He's just a guy who understands atmosphere and energy and likes to sort of dance.
I kind of feed off of that too. I love like the point before it hits mainstream, that early adopter kind of vibe where everyone's just happy to know each other and like, oh, you like this too?
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess I feed off of that.
Yeah. The best.
Yeah. But thank you. I appreciate that. The irony is that it took me 15 years to start a podcast.
That's true. Damn.
But I mean, well, you know, it's sometimes you just got to let things kind of go on its path.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How many episodes are you guys in?
I think this is like 5 or 6.
Do you guys have a short-term goal? Because I don't remember the exact stat, but it's something like 99% of podcasts don't make it to episode 20.
Oh,
so
wow.
I feel like if you guys just say we're definitely doing 21 episodes, no matter what, it either puts you in the top 1% or 5% of pods all time.
Wow. You know what? Now that I love that way of
Like,
thinking.
so we had 10,000 likes and we'll have an OnlyFans? Was that last
That's what
episode?
it was. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Exactly.
Yeah, the last episode we were just joking about that. So yeah, 10,000 likes and we'll do anything.
Well, at this point, you know what?
But I mean, yeah,
It's the new Klondike bar. Like,
yeah. But yeah, I think that's 21 seems very attainable, and
it's a
we're
great goal.
getting in some podcasts here and there. I think we did a couple on just sayings, which is
On
hilarious.
idioms.
Idioms.
Yeah.
And those rabbit holes that you get into, kind of you don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad, but definitely taught me a lot.
Is there an idiom you guys think I should be adding to my vocabulary?
Well, I mean, if you want to know, one thing that you should do was so fascinating was hot dog, or bull in a china shop led us to hot dog because this guy named Tad Dorgan, who he created both of those, and he was just known as a phrase maker.
Yeah.
In the 1920s.
What this man is amazing. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. Sorry. On top of that, he also was in the Boxing Hall of Fame for being an observer.
Yeah.
Like he watched a
just
lot
for
of
watching.
boxing?
Yeah.
You just watch.
He was just inducted into the Hall of Fame for boxing.
So
Yeah.
kids, when your parents tell you you're watching too much TikTok, say, "Mom, I might end up in the Hall of Fame someday."
Yeah. TikTok Hall of Fame.
Exactly. So this was just literally because we looked up Bull in a China Shop, which wasn't even like about him. It was about a dwarf who had passed away, and I guess somehow that was a saying in his obituary.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it makes sense. I don't even want to ask you any questions. That was just a complete idea.
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean that's just I mean, we're having fun over here, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we were just vibing, and I think that's what happened. Because when he came to me the first time for this idea, I'm like, "What are we gonna talk about? We're gonna banter." And I think like if the banter is good, then I think anything can happen.
Yeah.
Are you guys eventually going to do like a live stream on Twitch so you guys could have comments?
Could definitely see that happening. Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, that Kevin Garnett, like anything is possible, kind of, when he like wins the championship and or it's an Adidas commercial, and he just screams it.
I just know that from I'm on a boat. Like,
yeah, but like yeah, we're actually you're not the first person to. I think Luis also said you guys should live stream on Twitch or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Also, especially if you guys are talking about poker or anything that's gaming related or game theory related, there's a huge audience there. They would love it.
wow, this is a consultation.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
Look, I've done a lot. I launched the first ever multi-channel network on Twitch at one point.
I was
doing
say.
18 hours a day of live content on Twitch.
Yeah.
No thanks to them because they were the least helpful platform I've ever worked with.
I've heard.
You know what? I'm so happy for them that they had so much money and so much success that they just had no desire to help anyone grow. Must be lovely.
I mean, they just were
problem.
raking it in.
Yeah.
I'm giving them a hard time. They would give me a lot of support. They did make us a partner channel. They did give us some front page support, but we did a lot to sort of help them build a bunch of different verticals. So for example, poker, which they laughed me out of the room. I traveled up to San Francisco. I pitched them poker as a vertical. And before I even had a relationship with him, I pitched Jason Somerville. And they were like, no way we would ever do this.
He was one of the first like poker streamers. Like,
Got it.
Back, he was playing 25 cent, 50 cent, which is basically like for $50 and getting like 20,000 people watching him just because he was doing it. At times.
Well, it's in part because he was an early adopter, but also Jason Somerville is like a great jazz musician where he does not miss a beat. He doesn't let a single like moment of dead air happen, which is really tough to do. With a video game, it's nice because you have this beautiful, colorful, interesting thing behind you. So even if you have nothing to say, there's plenty for the audience to sink their teeth into. With poker, you have to give good commentary the whole time. And we ended up having a lot of success together with Twitch, doing a stream for a casino in Australia called Crown. And we helped them build this giant tournament called the Aussie Millions. And we ended up becoming the most watched live poker tournament of all time, like 4 years in a row. And Adam actually brought me with him to the American Poker Awards where we won an award for, I don't know if it was Twitch of the Year, Stream of the Year, something of the year.
There's
Damn.
I was actually looking at a picture of it. It's just like him with the award or whatever, and we're just like dressed in suits. And
God, I should know what we won that award for. I don't remember. It was something poker related. It was fine. It was fine. But actually, by the way, Adam introduced me to a guy who's become one of my best friends at that award show called Joey Ingram, who's kind of like a chief cultural officer of poker. And Adam,
the CCO,
again,
Wow.
Adam knew Joey Ingram was going to be at the top of that heap way before it happened. He knew in the like very beginnings of his podcast, he's like, this guy has it. This is going to be the #1 podcast in poker, which is absolutely true. If you ask anybody in the poker world, they all agree that he's probably the most important streamer in poker.
Wow.
Definitely the best podcast. So Adam, again, one more example of you
Damn,
being ahead of the
kudos.
curve.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it.
Read me.
You're going to direct Lord of the Rings Part 7.
Oh, no. The fans are going to hate me.
Oh, man.
Man, that'd be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, okay.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Give him like Star Wars or something.
Lord of the
Yeah,
Flies
right.
Part 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, I love Lord of the Flies. Part 2.
Well,
So are they adults now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it part 2. It's like they're just reflecting.
But yeah, so, and going back to your 24/7, was that Mania TV? Was that, or you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So, I mean, I went to a college that nobody's ever heard of because they only play sports that rich people play and they don't have a football team. But they're also very famous for creating cable television. And so I sort of knew digital television was the next step. And there was a company that, for whatever reason, decided to build a new media studio in Denver, Colorado in like 2005. It was a competitor for YouTube, a competitor for MySpace, with a 24/7 live stream on top of it in 2005.
Wow.
So ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And they
ancient.
it was ancient. And they had actually accumulated a lot of really great talent, including one of my childhood idols, the comedian Tom Green, who used to have a show on MTV, The Tom Green Show. And he had left the air a long time ago because he just didn't want to be censored. And they told him, look, dude, we're going to set up a studio in your home. No rules. You can have whatever guests you want. You can do whatever you want with those guests.
Yeah.
Just let us show the internet. And so on one of his first episodes, they were like drinking, and he's like, it would be so funny if we gave out our phone number. Maybe somebody would call us. Well, I called them, and they put me live on the air with him during the show for like 10 minutes, at the end of which I asked him for a job, and he got me a job, and this was my entry. This is my first big job out of college.
That's crazy.
And then that sent me down a bunch of different rabbit holes.
I can imagine.
What is it? The 100 shots or...
Oh, yeah.
Botching,
you miss
botching
100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you often hear that being lucky is like being prepared at the right time, you know? And I'm just like, that sounds exactly like that.
I think luck is my best skill. And
Yeah.
I think in part it's for sure preparation. It's being intentional too. You're not just being sloppy. I thought I had a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And I did. And so I didn't expect him to like bring me in for an interview and then they're just going to be like, oh, what do you want to do here? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I had a plan for them.
Wow.
And so they let me start building all different parts of this network. And where things really got weird was they had, at a Christmas party, decided, what if we did a parody of the real world, but let's do it about the homeless.
Oh.
And then when they sobered up, they said, but what if we just do this in a serious manner? What if we do like a docu-series and actually show that experience? And to their credit, they hired a very serious director named Del Bigtree, who at the time was the director of the Dr. Phil show, and who in many episodes of Dr. Phil would go undercover as a homeless person to sort of show what that experience is like.
Yeah.
And if you guys know that name or if that name sounds familiar, he's become a massive podcast host now. He just did a big debate last week with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, wow.
And I'll let you guys go down all those rabbit holes separately. But basically, after the show aired, he didn't put a gun to my head, but he's like, you're coming to LA. And he and a guy named Richard Ayub brought me out here. They gave me a home. They gave me a job. And that's what sort of brought me from Denver to LA and made that first big transition in my career.
That's amazing. Yeah. Damn, man. You brought yourself there, man. That's crazy.
I just honestly, I was at a stage in my life where I said yes a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nobody wanted to work on a show where they had to be with the homeless every day. And I was just like, this is so interesting to me. And I'm curious and I want to know what they're going through. And you learn so much. What would happen, of course. And this is an issue I don't, if you guys are bored by this, we don't have to go into this, but I do a lot of work with the homeless still to this day. And in part, it's because of that show, because what happens is there's a story you're told by people that are living on the streets. And it's a story they need to tell you because they need you to give them resources. That's not necessarily their truth. That's what they need to say so that they can try to survive through the day with a little more comfort.
Yeah.
But what happens is by day 12 or 13 or 14, when they realize you're not going anywhere, they finally just start telling you who they actually are. And then when you stay around, they finally start allowing themselves to accept who they are and to consider maybe there's a different way to live. It took that level of sort of intervention that was never meant to be an intervention, because that was our whole premise. We're not trying to change you.
Yeah.
We love you. We just want to know what you're going through, whatever it is.
Fly on the wall.
Yeah, that's it. And we're gonna. And by the way, we're gonna bring you into our life too, so you can see what we're going through.
Yeah.
And at the end of this, we had several people that I guess you would call them our cast, but we had 6 main figures that we were following. Several of them decided to get off the streets. One of them got off the streets and started helping other homeless people get off the streets, and it brought me down a whole new rabbit hole that I didn't know about. And it ended up inspiring my homeless charity, which is founded by Kevin Adler, who was a fan of our show, wanted to do a spinoff sort of sequel, And I talked him out of that, but he basically was trying to document their experience, realizing how difficult it was. But what he realized where the magic was just having a conversation about them that led to the question of, is there anybody in your life that you've lost touch with that you wish you could get back in touch with? And that was such a powerful breakthrough for him.
Yeah.
So just starting with that one single idea, we've now reunited 800 families permanently. We actually were on the front page of the LA Times today. I don't know if you guys have the LA Times. It's a huge, it's right underneath. There's like a picture of Dianne Feinstein who's got, she's in whatever state she's in right now. And then we're right underneath it. And it's become one of the most important things I've ever done. And it's just like, you don't know if you say yes to something and you work in high integrity with good people, you have no idea where it's going to go. And that's an example of something that really worked out.
Yeah. Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy, man. That's so inspiring.
That's awesome. And it's Miracle Messages, right?
Miracle Messages.
Yeah. Shout out Miracle Messages.
And if anybody wants to be involved, it's miraclemessages.org. And, really, for the most part, we've got thousands of volunteers that either go through group walks, through shelters to just get to know people, thousands of volunteers that operate as kind of digital detectives to help find that long-lost loved one, or sometimes the inverse, where the long-lost loved one wants to find somebody that's been missing on the street for sometimes 25 years.
Yeah.
And then we have a new program, which is why the LA Times did a story on us today, where it's just kind of like having a buddy that's a phone buddy. So maybe you don't feel safe, going through shelters or whatever, but a lot of times people just need a human who cares about them, because we've tried to make this issue all about money and all about housing. And I want everybody to have safe housing, but at the end of the day, there's so many more needs for people that are living on the streets. Obviously, we all know about the issues with mental illness and addiction, but our solution is relational poverty, because when you ask people on the streets, when did you think you were homeless? None of them mention losing a job. Really, none of them mention losing a home. It's when they lost that last connection to a loved one.
Wow. Wow. That hits, man.
Yeah. It's just, you want to see things kind of progress. And that's what's so easy about tech, like connecting with someone, or not easy, but if you want money, like a lot of people can barely make their rent, and as just, normal citizens. So that's like not something, but if you can somehow connect with someone that'll have so much help on their mental, well-being.
Yeah. Even
that's
so,
huge.
so the sort of grouping you're talking about, I might even call unhoused, people that are maybe at risk of losing their housing, or maybe they're going to be on their grandmother's couch this week or a best friend's couch next week, where they're not quite in as dire straits as somebody living permanently on the streets, but those people need love and support too. And some of it is economic. Some of it is like, it'd be great if their job paid more or if their rent was more affordable. But at the end of the day, imagine even if you had $0 to your name, if you felt like you had a strong family and support network to take care of you, your level of stress around that would be so much less than if you feel like you're out there on your own.
100%.
Yeah. It makes me think of like a grandma from like a lot of, older, people who are, they're living under the same roof as like the family. It's like the extended, and
absolutely.
And it's just like, obviously they have other stuff, but like they have such a good support system in that house, even though that now they're like 85 and they need a lot more help.
Look, living in a crowded house with 18 people for a lot of Americans sounds like that would be tough, but it's so much better than living by yourself on the streets.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Sorry to take it there, guys.
No, that's so strong.
Yeah, no, it's just reflecting. And I had an idea, and maybe this is free if someone wants to make this app, please, or something. But it's like part of the issue with talking. So Facebook, we have tons of friends on our Facebook or whatever it is, with your 500 or a couple thousand or whatever. Like they exist, they're there. But you're never really spending time out of your day to talk to a random person that maybe you haven't spoken to in a decade, but you used to really be friends with back in maybe not even college. Maybe it was like, when you're, 25 or whatever it was. And it's like, but they're not doing it to you either. It's not going, and it's like almost like, what if there were, so my crazy idea is if you had like AI that would just randomly hit a few people on your friend like list up, but you would say, hey, like these are people that I want to talk to. And then every day you talk to like 3 people and you just held like, it just would be like, hey, how are you doing? So the AI already said, hey,
Yeah,
You just have
initiated.
to, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. I haven't spoken to this
And then
guy in
their
forever.
AI replies.
Well, I know, but I mean, like this is more. The reason is because I had a couple friends or a friend a while back who was like, yeah, this guy that I know, he's having some trouble, like mental health issues and stuff like that, and it's like he was like thinking it was like pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I think sometimes it's just about us reaching out. And it's kind of almost randomizing it. Like, you don't know when you just being like, hey, I haven't spoken to this person in a decade. And you just say, hey, I was thinking about you.
Yeah.
You just reach out to that person.
That's true.
So it's like, obviously AI, there's to some level, it's maybe like kind of fake, but you're only carrying.
I don't think we need AI to do this. I'll make a pact with you guys. I will call somebody who I haven't spoken to in at least a decade tomorrow and check in on them and tell them I love them and I'm proud of them and just see how they're doing.
Wow.
And if you guys do it, I'll do it too.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll do it.
Can I say I won't call, but I'll message 3 people? Because I really don't call.
I'm gonna
but
FaceTime.
I will message 3 people
Okay.
that I haven't. I think that's fair.
Well, how about this? Can you message them with your phone number and be like, hey, give me a call and let's just catch up?
I can do that, and it's on them if they want to call.
Yeah. That's on them. Yeah, for sure.
Because honestly, they'll just appreciate the gesture. Even if they don't call, they'll just be like, that's cool that he was checking in. And
Yeah. No, I agree. But at the
all right.
same time, it's like we literally have to make a pact to do that because we all forget because we're all so busy with our lives.
Yeah.
So clearly, and obviously maybe that's not like $1 billion app idea or anything, but it's just kind of.
I don't know if it's an app. It feels like it should be a holiday. You remember Jimmy Kimmel used to have that holiday where once a year it's like, oh, this is delete friends on Facebook day.
Yeah.
There should be a call a friend you haven't spoken to randomly day, and you don't know who's going to call you.
Yeah.
But you get to pick who you're going to call. I don't know.
Oh, it's like a Secret Santa.
Yeah, it's White Elephant. It's National White Elephant Day.
Yeah. I think there's something. There's
Just sending
definitely something
presents
there.
to like a random address.
This has
and
like
you just-
ALS Ice Bucket Challenge vibes.
I think we just figured it out.
I like this a lot.
The next
Yeah.
national holiday.
Damn.
Yeah. And I see you wearing Daft Punk shirt. And I went to Coachella a couple of weeks ago, and
Yes.
actually we had a friend Luis come on, and he also went to the same Coachella. We got to see Fred again, Skrillex, Fortet, and it was completely like life changing how good being there was. And I referenced Daft Punk because I wasn't there for that, but I know you were in like 2006, I think, at Coachella.
Sick.
No, 2006 on their last tour, their live tour. I saw them in 2 locations. One in Vegas in Vegas.
No, it's a festival.
Oh, it's really called Vegas?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
okay.
I thought he was joking. I was like, no, I remember it.
And then the best concert experience of my life. And, it's one of those things where people are like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite song? It's like very tough. Concert experience, this is the easiest answer. Daft Punk at Red Rocks in Colorado, which is the greatest concert venue on earth. If you guys have never been to Red Rocks,
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I need
do
to go.
yourself a favor and go.
Okay.
It's not just my I am from Colorado, so you might think I'm biased.
Sure.
Oh, no, it's like unequivocally known.
Factual.
Like,
Yeah.
And you ask people of all sorts of genres, all sorts of eras, what's your favorite venue?
Red Rocks.
It's the answer you're going to hear almost more than any others. And it was such a magical time. I was actually there with the guy who at one point was engaged to Brittany Furlan before she got with Tommy Lee, named Randall, who's one of my oldest friends, who also was with me doing this homeless docuseries.
Wow.
And we dressed up with Optimus Prime masks. This was right around the time of the first Transformers.
Yes.
And we wore pinstripe suits. And when we walked into the front, a bunch of people thought we were Daft Punk.
Oh no.
No, we got mobbed, and we took hundreds of photos until security came and grabbed us and pulled us out of the crowd. And they're like, we can't protect you guys. We think you should take your helmets off because this is
crazy.
like crazy.
Yeah.
And it was one of the greatest nights
That's
of our life.
amazing.
And my big goal in life, I love Burning Man. Burning Man is one of these things that sounds really stupid until you go. It just sounds like, oh, cool, you're having drugs and everybody sounds whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to love it. If you think that Fred again and Fortet and Skrillex was magical at Coachella, anything at Burning Man is exponentially more magical. And the prank I want to pull is I want to get maybe like an Ashton Kutcher involved in this, and I want to fake a Daft Punk performance, and then one of them takes off their helmet and it's Ashton Kutcher, and people are gonna be like, what are you doing? And then I want the second person to take off their helmet and it's Rick Astley. But then I want a bunch of different art cars to surround the stage, and then I want actual Daft Punk to come out.
Yes.
Yeah. Thomas
2 rug
Thomas
pulls.
Bangalter
Oh.
and the other guy's name. But,
And the other guy who's also awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not knowing your name.
Dude.
but yeah.
That would be insane.
I do feel like I need to go to Burning Man at some point. I still don't know how. I've never been. I think the logistics of getting there. It's 20 hours each way or whatever. But
no, that's the point. The pain is the point, because there are people there's different ways to do it. There's people that have like a volunteer airport, and you could fly in and you could pay a lot of money and go to a camp where everything's set up and all your meals are made. That's the dumbest way to do Burning Man. And I understand the temptation if you're like a billionaire or you're a model who a billionaire wants to bring with you, but you might as well have went to Ibiza or Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The point is to have a struggle, because you have two jobs at Burning Man. Number one is to survive. And what's going to happen is you're going to have to rely on each other. You're going to have to receive help. You're going to have to give help, and you're going to bond. And then once that job's done, you only have one other job, which is to thrive. And the thriving feels so much better when you had to survive first.
sure.
Wow. Honestly, that sounded so poetic and informational. Like I want to put B-roll of Burning Man now to that sound clip of yours. Like,
and by the way, no matter what words I use or what visuals you'll see, there's no way for me to explain the experience. I thought Burning Man sounded like the dumbest thing on earth, and I was so wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of things, but I would say of all the things I've been wrong about, at least in the recent decade, that's the most wrong I've ever been about something.
wow. All right. Damn. I'm convinced.
So,
I'm sold. 10,000 likes, we go to Burning Man.
There you go. The thing about, so this happens in like kind of different, it happens just in culture. Where, okay, everyone moves to California, and everyone not in California is like, fuck California. Or everyone's likes NFTs and gets into it, and everyone's just like, oh God, it's a Ponzi scheme. And that happens with Burning Man. But I have never been to Burning Man, but I will never disrespect Burning Man, because ultimately, if a ton of people are getting in NFTs, a ton of people go to Burning Man and say it's life-changing, like at some point it's like the law of crowds, or kind of like, at some point, if 100 people just keep saying it, they don't stop talking about it, and whenever they go with their Burning Man friends, they literally talk about it for hours. It's like, yeah, maybe it's a good thing, and I should just accept it and understand that I haven't been, but it is a good thing.
Yeah.
That maybe I should go, or maybe I don't want to go to it just for whatever reasons, for like self, issues or whatever.
Maybe I'm hating.
No, I'm never gonna hate on it.
Yeah.
But there's, but you should respect it. And I think a lot of
100,000 people go through an experience that sounds like it's miserable, and yet they all can't wait to do it again next year, that should be a big green flag of, okay, there's something magical happening there. And the inverse would also be true. If a bunch of people claim something was so great and none of them ever actually wanted to go back and do it again, you kind of know they're full of crap. So just, relax, surrender, go for it. And by the way, there's no way to do it wrong, because you will be so taken care of. You will be given more love by more people than you've ever seen in your life.
Wow.
And there's no, you don't trade with people there. You give. It's a gifting economy. And hopefully you've been thoughtful enough where you have something to provide for someone else, and they will love receiving whatever that gift is from you, even if it's as small as like a popsicle because it's 100 degrees out.
Yeah, exactly. Community.
Popsicle, man. That's probably one of the best gifts you can give at 100 degrees.
Oh, yeah. Then you've really thought it out.
Yeah.
You're like, I got to bring the ice chest. I got to bring the flavors.
Yeah. So we have a couple TikToks that I wanted to show you, because it's kind of just funny to like always have like reactions. And I'm also like, I just watch too many TikToks.
You are Instagram. Adam is an expert level TikTok curator. There's only one person who I've ever followed who's better at curating TikToks than Adam. His name is Nick Kaufman, and his literal job for Snapchat was to be the guy who decided which clips went on the story.
There you go.
Sort of the global story. So you go through different levels at Snapchat. You start off, you get to curate the local level and decide who's on the LA story.
So I met my arch enemy.
He took your job, I guess.
He's the corporate version. You're just doing it for the love of the game, because he also got hired at TikTok to do the same thing.
Wow.
But you're just as good as him, but you just do it for pleasure.
And maybe not pleasure more, because we're doing it on here.
Yeah,
and,
it's a tax write-off now.
There you go. Nice. This one is Harry Tate, and this dude's just good. I just like this guy a lot.
Oh yeah, I love this guy.
I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find a love within.
That's kind of it.
So he does so many things the right way. number one, there's something about being just like a tall, gangly, goofy white guy who's grooving a little bit that people love. And I love dancing more than almost any tall, goofy white guy you've ever met. He's one of the only people that I'd say maybe loves it as much as me. And it just, everything about that works for me, from the neon yellow turtleneck to the glasses to the blazer.
Yeah, I mean, those like glasses were a thing for a bit. And then it just like he just kind of took it and was like, the hair, he just got the perfect like makeup for it.
Yeah, he wasn't like the first to wear the glasses. I feel like there's that vine of I think it's a woman who is like, it's like the and then she turns like this. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I feel like she did it first, but he's done it the best.
It was the beginning, when she turns and it zooms in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are you guys at that point during catch where you want to stop, but you don't want to be the one to bow out, so you just keep throwing the ball?
Kind of. You good? I've been done for like 30 minutes.
You guys are coming in now?
You know what? I hope this becomes a more common genre. I want to see people doing commentary over just normal people doing normal things, just like we do sports commentary over excellent athletes. I think that's a
Live
perfect concept.
reactions.
Yeah. I would actually like to do that. If I was going to start posting on TikTok, I think that's one of the genres I would focus on.
That's just everyone kind of feels that way sometimes. It's like, I'm kind of having fun, but I'm not really like I'm like having enough fun where I'm not going to question if the other person's also not having fun.
Totally. Look, I'm old enough now that if I'm in a circumstance like that with my friends, like we say, like, look, dude, do we really want to keep doing this? Like sometimes 10 minutes of catch is enough catch.
Yeah. And we have one more that's just like, this is me getting into deep racing TikTok. And they feed me these crazy ones.
Okay, let's go.
Into stage one. If you think it looks bad from outside the car, share a ride with Nicky Grist and Colin McRae and see if you share their opinion.
Unbelievable, look at it, yeah. Into long 6 right. This is crazy. 30k, long 3 right minus. 6 left. Look at 300. Can't even see the finish board.
This TikTok gives me so much anxiety. This TikTok is like the equivalent of that movie Precious. It's like, I'm happy I watched it once, but I don't think I could watch this again.
No, this is Uncut Gems.
Like, I feel my pulse is already racing.
Oh yeah, I mean that one's like,
Zing!
Yeah, that one is like that. So the history behind that is literally that's how rallycross is. I don't know if you know much about rally racing. But literally, they just go up a hill or whatever, and they time it, and they try to beat everyone else, and it's one car.
And they ask humans to stand as close to their car as possible.
They don't, but it's like when they come to town, it's like in like some remote place in Italy where they decide to do the race, or it's like a part of like 1,000-mile race, like the car race from like through the safari, through like the Middle East or whatever. And it's just like they're just happy to see something that they'll never see again in their lives or something. And people will.
And they're like, you know what? If I die today, I die. It's the best thing I've seen in years because all my village owns is like a well and a banana tree. So
basically,
this sounds very, very scary.
And then the last one is going to not be anxious, hopefully. There you go.
I mean, I think it goes without saying that I'm fully on board with this TikTok. Does that group do like a lot of that? Because if they did a whole concert of just Daft Punk covers with that style, I would pay actually for like a pretty expensive ticket. Like you think about cover bands, it's usually like a $10 show or something. I would pay, I think, upwards of $75 to watch an entire concert of that.
This is not my find. This was him being like, Twerp?
Yeah, I love it.
The second he said that you love Daft Punk, I was like, does he know what TWRP is? And that's what this group is.
Is it TWRP or twerp? How do I say?
Both.
Okay.
Twerp, TWRP, just, when you think of the full word, if you say twerp, they have their electronic band, their...
Wait, he specifically told you in advance that I like Daft Punk?
Yep.
What? I mean, look, I like a lot of different things. It just feels like that's quite serendipitous that you mentioned that I like Daft Punk. I happen to wear a Daft Punk shirt, which, by the way...
That's why I was like, that's why I said it was ominous when I saw you.
I don't think I've worn this shirt in 5 years.
Wow. Serendipity.
Wow. Yeah,
Serendipitous.
yeah.
Ominous. Omen. It's a good omen, but ominous is so funny.
Yeah, I was like, maybe that's not the right word.
Yeah.
It's odiferous because it's been in my closet collecting dust.
There you go. Yeah, but I think you'd enjoy them, man. Give them.
I'm already on board.
Yeah,
but they do that.
That was
$70 to go see. You know,
just see a cover band.
Exactly.
100% on board.
That's respect.
And they do it in their costumes. Those are their. That's legit. That's
yeah,
them.
when I saw that, I was like, oh, like they do cover and they make their own music and they're in these awesome costumes. Like, I'm surprised I've never heard of them.
They're killing it.
They're killing it. Yeah. So
shout out to Twerp.
Shout out to Twerp.
Shout out to Twerp. See, you know, you got some anxious ones in there that like, and then you have the good vibes.
I still have not caught my breath after the rally car one.
Yeah. It did give me anxiety. I was gonna say that not many videos give me anxiety. Like,
oh, really?
I've seen movies that give me anxiety, but short videos, not often, not very often.
No,
yeah.
I mean, like that one is like the first time I saw it, I was like, this is a lot. But also, like, this is reality of rally car racing in like. I've seen that. That's how it is most of the time,
man.
It's the race car version of when, like, as a kid, someone say, "I'm not touching you," and they'd put their finger right down the bridge of your nose and be like, "I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you," and you're just like frozen. That's what making that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good way to describe it, but yeah,
but it's like a knife instead. Like it's like, oh,
you know, I mean, maybe I'll not use that one in the future, or maybe I will because it's just like good to see this is like the reality of like what people really are like. This is a '97, but they still do that to this day.
Wow, I forgot that was '97 too.
Have you ever heard of the Isle of Man race? The Manx XX or whatever. There's a movie about it. Unfortunately, it's like the deadliest race it's a motorcycle race, and it's just like they just accept that like 3 or 4 people are gonna die every year. Like they hope it doesn't, but it's like they're so addicted to the adrenaline rush of racing around the Isle of Man. And I used to play an arcade game called Manx XX or whatever. It was it was basically a motorcycle racing game around that.
About
as
that?
a kid, yeah,
that's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, so people, and as someone who's just like become like, I wanted to be a race car driver when I was growing up, and then someone who is just like it's been revitalized with F1 and everything. Yeah. It's like I think it's like the people who excel at racing, they live so on the like edge of just life, because it really is just that like one wrong turn kind of thing, that I think it's like unlike, it's almost, maybe it's like to some way like they're Burning Man, where it's like there's only one way that you can experience it, and it's by doing it. And like you won't, or maybe skydiving or like wearing a wingsuit or something like that. It's like something you can't really know until you do it, and you can see how it's cool. But once you're in the car and you're driving, or then you actually are good at it and win. Like, that's the sickest. But yeah, so that's kind of
also not dying. Also very sick.
Great bonus.
Yes. Also, yeah, that was actually a question that I asked him. I was like, if you got an extra life in life, I'd be a Formula One race car driver, 100%. Like I couldn't fit into a Formula One car. Unfortunately, I'm too big.
Would you do drag racing?
No, not drag, but I would find some sort of race. Maybe like the sports cars and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. If you had a 1-up,
yeah.
If you're just like, this one's okay. This one's a.
I do have 2 questions. One's kind of quick, and then the other one is a little more thoughtful. What is your temperature setting? And do you think that's a reason? Like, what's your temperature setting when you go to bed? Like your AC?
It's either 67 or 68. Depends on how spicy I'm feeling.
I fuck with that.
Yeah, I think I want to hibernate like a bear in a cave.
Yeah.
Do you think that if like there is a high, like I think that's a 5 degree, like if you're in a couple and you're like 67 and a 74, it ain't working.
Yeah, no, I'm actually think for me it's probably even less than that. I think even like 72. I don't know. Let's be friends.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is great. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, it's like I realized it one day because I was staying with my mom, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll go to 75 at night." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I have to have the fan.
Yeah,
and this is in Florida where it wasn't like summer, so it wasn't 100% humidity and 90 degrees or anything, but it was still like 60, 70 out or whatever. And I'm like, I have to full fan. Thank God you have a fan on top of the AC. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
there's way too much emphasis on what's your attachment style or how many children do you want. This should be one of the first things people say on like a dating profile is I sleep at this temperature.
That should definitely be a fucking filter. Yeah, 100%.
Today I tried to chat GPT it where I looked up, I was like, hey, can you please see if there's a correlation between anti-mask protests in Orange County and the NFL coming back, like back in 2020. It was like all these people were mad about wearing masks, and then immediately NFL came on and those protests kind of stopped. So I was like wondering if it was just like a lot of like bored dudes who just like didn't have
something else to do now.
Yeah, so this is like another like thing where it's just like I'd love if that he couldn't couldn't figure it out. I don't know. But then this would be another thing. Maybe I didn't have to bring that one up, but I just thought it was a funny thing. That I mean, that is a funny correlation. They couldn't handle it. I was like, I believe that there is a correlation between the NFL coming back and these protests ending.
He's like, listen, buddy, like I don't know what to tell you.
It's like, sorry, you can try, but it's really hard and it's possibly unethical. It's what it told me. It was like
possibly unethical.
I don't know.
There are ways to like be like, no, I disagree. I'll be like, oh, you're right, and it'll just tell you.
But yeah, I mean, if we could find out this, what
temperature differential,
that could probably be worth.
What are your temperatures?
I'm definitely a cold boy. Yeah,
I'm 71, but unfortunately, the way that my like air conditioning runs, it's just gets way too cold, like way too fast. So I kind of don't like just
you taper it.
Yeah,
I get it. I can
go lower though. I really like just being under the covers, and it's like like when it's cold, and then you just go under the covers. It's like awesome. Like when it's like 20 degrees in New York or something.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, that's a great problem to have. Whenever I'm going somewhere, Airbnb, hotel room, if possible, I try to bring a little USB fan with me because I never know. I never fucking know how it is, and that shit is a lifesaver.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. So I'm 71. What are you?
Probably same 67, 68, 69 for the gigs, for the laughs.
As long as it's not like 74, 75 or like 60. Like
82,
and then the other question is, what's like a first principle that you feel like you've kind of learned from maybe business or just life? For me, for poker, it's been like be fluid in just about everything that you do, because there is almost certainly going to be new information that you kind of have to adapt to. So, and in a way, it's like that kind of means like maybe don't be so. I guess in a way, there's very few things that I'm absolutely like 100% like not passionate about, but like believe or know kind of thing, because at some point there could be like, if there's new information that's presented and it's like, oh, you're actually wrong about this and here's why or whatever, then I'm willing to be fluid and change my opinion if what's presented I believe is oh, that's a good point.
I think being able to update your priors is incredibly important. And even with, like you mentioned, the masks and the mask protests, I had built a mask company. I saw COVID coming a lot earlier than most of the general public did. And so we were able to sell hundreds of thousands of them. It was a really great business. But once the data was clear to me that the masks don't work, I stopped selling them because I refused to sell a product I don't believe in. But that was tough. And that required me updating my priors and acknowledging that, we thought the research suggested they might. Turns out they don't. So we need to now adjust and move forward. I think my answer, though, to that question, and thinking about the fact that, both of us are early adopters. I was on Facebook in 2004. It's the first to growth hack a bunch of different platforms way ahead of time. When I launched my MCN on Twitch, that was 2013. People barely even knew what Twitch was in 2013. And I think if I was trying to sum that up in a principle, that it's always really tough to be the smartest person in the room, but the easiest way to be the smartest person in the room is to be the first person in the room.
Oh,
damn.
I like that. It's a good take on always be the or like don't never be the smartest person in the room. Whereas I like that where it's just like, yeah, okay, now that I'm here and I'm technically the smartest because I'm only one, but now people start coming around and it's like I'm at least like get proximity almost.
Shoulder to shoulder.
You have the proximity of people that are coming in smarter than you that are also trying to work it out for the first time. Like it's fascinating, honestly, as an early adopter when you like see, and sometimes it can be a little, maybe not irking, but irk me a little bit. But it's like, oh yeah, I like help this person, and then they just like surpass me, and if, you know, and you're like, but like at the same time,
that should
like
be Adam. You should take that as the greatest compliment. I remember this panel. I used to love Uncanny X-Men. That was the comic book I grew up on. And there's something that I remember Professor X. I'm going to have to sort of just paraphrase. Was saying that the greatest honor of his career, and he was referencing Jean Grey, was being surpassed finally by a student.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's, to me, the greatest impact you can leave on Earth is to give people help along the way and have them slingshot past you because just a little bit of their journey was improved by whatever you could bring to the table.
100%.
I like that. And
great mindset.
And I do think that it's personal. Like I've been working past that where it's like, dude, like you help them, whatever, you know, and it's also like you're on your own journey. Yeah. You know, and I was mostly, I'm like just recalling NFTs or whatever, because I was, you know, like a lot of people, they went and did stuff. But the funny thing is I'm kind of, I think sometimes it's a little irrational. You know, we're all a little irrational sometimes, but it's like, I didn't really want to do stuff. I mean, I tried, but like, I didn't want to, like, it was the NFT world in 2021 was chaos and a little bit of 2022. And it's like, that maybe wasn't my path, but it was like, I'm happy to be here, you know? And like you said, like there are people that I definitely helped and, you know, whatever they're doing, like I'm happy to help.
Look, think about it this way, Adam. If every single person that crossed your path, whether it's in NFTs or poker or anywhere else, if everybody who crossed your path was worse off for it, there's never going to be a benefit to you in your life, dude. You have no idea 5 years from now or 25 years from now what's going to come right back around to you, because success is not a zero-sum game. Poker is a zero-sum game. I only win money because you've lost money to me. But when you're building together and helping people, it's a positive sum game, and you'll never know if in 25 years all of a sudden that value is going to come back into your lap.
I mean, I guess in some way that's like you being on the podcast right now, because we've just known each other for what, like, you know, 15 years, maybe 12, 13 years at this point. And it's just like, we kind of, you know, like we're always just, all right, like I can help you here, you can, whatever it is. And I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, guys.
Yeah,
man.
Well,
Thank you for enlightening us.
We have, sorry, I wasn't trying to abruptly end it.
That felt like a conclusion.
I know, but it just was more of like me just
sincerely thank you. Yeah,
sincerely thank you. But I do have one thing for you, and Kylie, your girlfriend, helped me with help me with this a bit, and
did she help you pull a Nardwar? Nardwar is the goat.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, yeah, I know. Man, Nardwar is the best. But yeah, I was like, what is, you know, like I could get something for Darwin, you know, Denver, whatever. And she was like, no, crystals and candles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean.
And by the way, I just want to also thank you. You guys have the best refreshments of any podcast or interview I've ever been on.
Yes. Non-alcoholic. We need Kin.
We're number one in something.
Kin, you're not a sponsor of our podcast, Kin, but we could at some point.
I feel energized, honestly. Like I've drank. This is the upper you said?
Yeah.
Kin not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but
not a sponsor,
please.
But.
Yeah, I'm not being paid to say this. I love Kin. I have like 10 of them in my refrigerator right now. Oh yeah, this is sick.
Yeah.
Well, what is it?
It says House of Intuition. Honor your ancestors' magic candle. And I know I'm going to put this next to, I keep my dad's ashes in my living room. We're going to put this next to, actually I have his ashes next to a skull of Tupac.
Amazing.
They're the two baddest mofos I've ever known.
Wow.
And thank you. This is great. Thank you.
No, there were a couple.
Oh wait, there's bonus.
There's more treats.
There's actually like some like crystals or rocks in there. I'm not,
rocks.
I'm not. I don't know. Like
grab some pebbles off of the asphalt outside.
I'm not really like well versed in it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I'm a little bit. I'm open. You know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like. Apparently, they give different energies, you know, and I was talking to him about it. And
this is Kylie's birthstone. This is aquamarine, and my aunt made this for her, and I wear it to honor both of them. I don't know what I believe either. I'm open to it, and here's what I will acknowledge: everything has a vibration. I don't know how much of this setup is on camera, but even all of the Funkos you guys have, and the choice that we've made of glasses and of artifact and everything puts off some level of energy, and people agree with that idea.
Yeah.
Some
that's
people just
style
feel
to some extent. That's fashion.
That's fashion. That's the tone of your voice.
Yeah.
That's
Vibes.
the color of whatever you're wearing. That's the flavor of the food you make. That's the sound of the music you make.
Yeah.
And we all accept that, but then we say, oh, well, that thing shouldn't have a vibration to it. No, it's all vibrations.
Yeah. Damn.
So these were, I think one was a gambling rock. Tiger's Eye and Moon.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like
so
I
we
was
got
told
Tiger's
that-
Eye. We've got
Those look like Cards Against Humanity cards.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to say this one. Aventurin.
there you go.
I used to fuck with Tiger's Eye. Am I allowed to cuss on this podcast?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I used to
Hell
fuck
yeah.
with Tiger's Eye a ton as a kid too. Oh yeah, that's sick. That's the Tiger's Eye right there.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one is this one. I think this one's
That's the
Aventurin.
gambling one. I was like, oh, there's a
The
gambling
Lucky
one?
Stone.
That sounds cool.
Oh, well, so I turned 40 in July. And my birthday present to myself is I'm going to enter the World Series of Poker main event.
I love it.
I'm going to bring this as my chip protector or my card protector. I mean.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, these are sweet.
This just reminded me. I mean, after I'll end on this, but I have this thing in my wallet that a guy in the Philippines gave to me. And he was my Uber driver. We had like a really great talk. Like we talked about life, he was like, what are your goals, man? He was like, you're a filmmaker, and we're just like all this. And, he's just like, well, I hope you make a lot of money is what he says. And I was like, I'm trying, man. It's hard. And he's like, okay. He pulls this out of his wallet. He's like, this is my lucky charm. This stays with me wherever I go. And whenever I come, fortune comes with me. And I'm like, why are you giving me your only lucky charm? And he's like, I have 2 of them. And I was like, whoa, you have like double the luck. So he gave it to me. And ever since I've had this, there's been some great soys in my life, but I've had it in my wallet for 5 years.
You know what's crazy is that
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and I resonate with that because maybe a decade ago, I put a fortune cookie thing in my just like a little, a piece of paper. And it said like good thing. It was something like good things are coming to you, or like you will be. If something will be like very like not profitable, but like maybe fortuitous or whatever in your near future. I ended up getting like 12th in the main event, and then a couple like months later, I like saw that in my wallet, and I was like, "What the hell?" It was like 12th out of like 8,000 people or whatever.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I just, I mean, obviously, luck is, or you make your own luck kind of thing, but it's still kind of like when you see that, you're like, holy shit, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Look, the body can follow the mind, and we're not quite ready to accept that yet. We know for today, it's very, very well accepted that if you think stressful things and if you expect the worst, bad things happen to you. If you ask doctors, like, what's the worst cause of health problems, they'll all say stress. But the opposite is also true. When you think about positive outcomes, it doesn't mean that you're always going to get that literal thing that you're hoping for, but it's way more likely to happen. And even with, is this like a piece of paper? What is this?
You want to take?
Yeah, I want to take a look at this. So here's the thing. Whether this paper actually was magical or not, because it meant so much to him and he conveyed that story to you, and now it means so much to you.
And you always remember that and recall it. That's why I love music too.
Whenever I lose my wallet, because like I'm forgetful, I lose this. That's the first thing I'm like, oh man, I don't have that little lucky charm anymore.
I'm going to charge it with my lucky stone here for a second.
This is going to be.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Once you get to the bottom of this, apparently there's crystals in it. So it's like, it's double.
Oh,
crystals and candles.
It's like a prize at the end, like a cereal.
Yeah, that's literally what the guy said. He said, it was like, yeah, it's like, at the cereal, you get the ring.
That's so good.
This would be a sick way to do like, if you sold like a limited edition of these and 1 in 1,000 had something that was incredibly valuable at the bottom of this.
Genius.
Yeah.
What the
golden
fuck?
ticket?
That's a loot box candle.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
damn.
Loot candle. It's literally lit.
Yeah. What the fuck? we have to cut this out.
It's too good. But yeah, I think that, man, we had a great conversation. By all means, open, if you want to come back, open invite or,
Well, we would love to have you, man. You are so articulate. They're like, I want to pick your brain so much. I would love
Anytime.
to.
I'd be happy to. Thank you guys so much.
Kylie also, she's like, when am I coming on? I was like, yeah, okay, you're coming on June.
Yeah.
So Kylie, my girlfriend, would be an incredible guest for you guys. First of all, she's traveled to every continent. Like, she's actually traveled to Antarctica.
That's it.
Amazing.
She's the most read person that I've ever met. And a lot of people claim they read because it just sounds like you're going to get clout for it. She just reads all day. And her favorite pastime is she listens to stories on Reddit, usually around relationships. And she just goes through each person in every story and tries to empathize with why are they doing what they're doing. It's really, really cool. She'll have a lot to bring to the table.
That's amazing. Oh, maybe we'll bring some Reddit. They can bring some Reddit stories.
The Reddit stories.
Yeah.
Those TikToks always catch me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, this is a rat. I mean, rabbit holes.
People spill their soul on there, man.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guise of anonymity really just, and
It's
I
the
think-
internet. No one's
Yeah.
going to know. And then it just goes
Yeah.
viral. You're like,
And then you in the back of your mind being like, is this shit true? There's way too many details in here for it to not be true. It's like that adds to the guise, that adds to the
yeah, for
appeal.
sure. I know.
Anyway.
Well, thank you guys. And thank you for these gifts. And I want to come back after the World Series. I'm going to let you know, did this charge the Lucky Stone and did their combined power help me?
Yeah. And I'll let you know too. We'll see. Holy shit, watch. Some big things are coming.
I got to touch it.
Yeah, right. Because now you're going to be like, whoa, I'm on top of it because now I know this is going to be cool before it happens to be cool.
There you
with
go.
your powers combined.
Exactly. Captain Planet.
There you go.
Yeah. That's the only thing I remember from Captain Planet was just the intro. I
Heart.
never watched like an episode. I was just like, that's a sweet
Yeah.
intro.
It was a sweet intro.
It really was.
It was. And I guess this is an outro.
Oh, shit! We're out. That's it.
You are listening to the outro. Like and subscribe quickly and hit the bell to please. We love you. Bye.